Welcome to the seventh episode of Indie and Music Industry World. Ladies and gentlemen, Jazzmenn Zoe. Hello
Hey,
there. Nice to
hi, how
meet you.
are
Finally,
you?
we did it. How's it going?
Hi, I'm well. Nice to see you. How are
Yeah,
you?
congrats so much for all your stuff. You're amazing.
Thank you.
I remain
Thank
speechless when I listen to your voice and your tracks. You
you.
remind
Yeah.
me the real R&B. So you know,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So I know, tell me about all the process about all your writing songs. All the lyrics, everything you want. I let you free to talk. You're
Okay,
incredible.
so I write all of my songs. I wrote A Girl Like Me maybe, I'm trying to think when I wrote it. Maybe like in the summertime.
Oh,
And I I usually when I write, like, I sometimes I don't know what I'm basing it off of. Like, I will just vibe or feel how I feel, and then I'll just start writing to like whatever I feel, or I'll just start writing to like how I want to feel, you know. And
yeah.
yeah, and um, that song was very like it was unintentional. Like it wasn't even supposed to come, and I was just like listening to the beat, and I'm like, okay. And all I kept saying was like, like, and I was like, okay. And so I just
That
started,
was
I
that
just
was
started like,
cool. It was something hypnotic. I think. Okay, I was okay. That's a hit song. So
oh,
that's great.
yeah,
Smash
thank
it on the
you,
radio.
thank you so much.
You're welcome. I, have you just planned to release something like an album?
Yeah, so I want to release my first EP
Yeah.
because I've never released an EP or a project at all. So I want to release an EP first. Um, and I'm kind of still because I had an idea and it was like everything was perfect and I was like, this is great. And then I was like, no. And so I'm trying to, I guess, reframe everything and like because I want as much of me as possible in the project, and I don't want to just have like one lane of me. I want all emotions of me, all attitudes of me, all like personalities of me in one project. And so I'm trying to figure out how I can like get that across instead of
Yeah.
like putting myself in a box, and once I drop this project, it's like they're gonna always think this is me versus making sure that like I can be put in any space. There can be a pop song, but also an R&B song, but also like a rock and roll song if I want to, and
Yeah.
maybe something that's like it's different. It's like she can do everything. She has no boundaries. She has no restraints. So that's really my
Exactly.
focus for this project. Yeah.
Have you got just like some inspiration of some other artists you know, in your
Well, I
music?
grew up I love Beyonce so
Yeah.
much. I love Michael Jackson so much. Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston. I also like New Edition a lot. A lot of them is like those are the people that I kind of grew up with, like looking at and like being like, oh man, I want to be like that. I want to do that. So
Have you take inspiration when you write a song? Maybe something about personality attacks. Something that happens into your life, or
yeah. So what's like what inspires me
yeah,
with
exactly.
okay, with like writing or
Yeah, about yeah, maybe of a writing of your writing session when you write a song. What inspires you? Something about happens into your life, or how is the process? How's the creation of your own song?
yeah. What inspires me to write the song basically.
Yeah,
Um, honestly, like I don't know. It's really like whatever I'm experiencing or like what I'm seeing, what I'm going through at the time. Like if I'm sad, I tend to write those, those kind of songs. If I feel like empowered, I tend to write those kind of songs. If I feel like sometimes when I lack empowerment, but I want empowerment, I'll write empowerment songs. Um, sometimes I feel like it's all based off of like my feelings of the life, or sometimes the world. Like if I feel like the world's lacking something, I will write to that, because I may feel like, okay, the world needs this. And like I'll write something that I feel like the world needs. So it's all based off of like outside world, inside world, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I found you like, something like a real complete artist, as you can dance to,
Yeah.
Is it hard
Yeah.
to mix both things, sing and dance at the same time, and that's cool.
Yeah. No. Sometimes it can be, just because like, especially when I'm performing, I have to try to keep up. I have to make sure I'm not out of breath, and so I have to make sure I sound good, but I also have to make sure the dance moves look good. So it's like kind of, you're trying to make sure you can do both things. So that kind of gets a little rough sometimes, but I get on the treadmill. So I keep my windpipe that way, like my air. So then that way when I'm dancing and stuff, I'm used to being out of breath, and I'm used to singing and being out of breath. So that way it doesn't affect me too much when I'm actually performing.
Yeah,
So yeah.
that's amazing. Congrats so much, Are you just performing on the radio right now, or have you got a support of some labels? What do you want to do, Just like enter on a label or stay independent?
Um. Well, right now I am independent. My goal for myself is I do kind of want to stay independent, only because I want to make sure that I have rights to my music. That's important to me. If somewhere, some way, I'm able to find a relationship with a label that allows me to have some sort of rights to my music and ownership of it, then I feel like that's a conversation, and I would, love to have that
Yeah,
conversation. But I think this day and age is
you
just
can
hard to
have
kind
the
of,
freedom of your creativity.
yeah, and
That's what I
creativity.
think.
you know it makes me nervous sometimes when, like, if you create something, and let's say someone's telling you like, hey, you're not able to drop that right now, or you can't release that right now. And that's like one of the worst things to hear as a creative. The worst thing to hear is like, hey, no. Like, you can't
Exactly,
drop your art, you can't release your art, because it's like one of those things. Our art is what keeps us alive. If we're not actively creating, if we're not actively putting out art, we start to die. And so it's a lot easier being independent right now, just because when I want to grow, I can drop something.
exactly.
When I want to, I can go perform. I don't have any restrictions to that. So yeah, but I think if there are labels out there that are more open to
And at the same
being,
time, you can perform on the radio. You can do every. Because I think that just like more than R&B and hip hop world is say more independent now.
yeah,
As a lot of more support of just like independent labels.
yeah,
So
exactly.
it's a better thing for me.
It is. Mhm.
Absolutely. When will you release? The have you just start planning some like a tour there?
Uh-huh.
Something like a small tour. Have you planned some shows? Maybe I
Yeah,
reach you in Europe too. You got that kind of style that you can say, okay, I wanted to perform around the world. Come
yeah.
on. Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I want. I think that's the thing too that helps. Like, that's the one thing with the label that I feel like is beneficial, is like being able to tour, being able to, like, you know be in bigger spaces and being able to be seen in bigger places. I think they have, I believe they do have more access in that arena than like, you being independent, So that's something I really want. I really want to go on tour. I really want to tour like all of Europe. I want to tour all of the United States. I just
can
want to be
do
like
that. You
everywhere.
can do that. As you got that kind of song, I was impressed by also by the all the music video, all you can dance, just like Cream is amazing too. Save
Oh,
Me
thank you.
too. Save Me, it's a pure smash hit, just like Waiting.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
You got that kind of
What's your
talent that
favorite? What's your favorite?
my favorite. No, I was impressed because every song is different. That's what I
Right.
had the totally big impression. You
Yeah.
can jump from a side to another side, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
So,
Thank
congrats so much. I wait you in Europe. If you need some support for also for label, but also for radios, as I got some other stuff that can help you. I can try to send your records. So
right.
sure, you got all my support for everything.
Thank
Just
you.
share. You gotta present your music to the people now for my
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
podcast.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Do you wanna present you to the public?
Oh yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
sure. So who you are and where we can find you?
You can find me at jazzmenzoe.com. That's my website. Also, Jazzmenn Zoe on Instagram, Jazzmenn Zoe on Facebook, and also I am Jazzmenn Zoe on TikTok.
Yeah.
And then Jazzmenn Zoe on Spotify and Apple Music and
And you have to
YouTube.
follow
Yeah.
her because she's a pure smash. Go check out to listen a girl like me and all the smash hit songs because you're incredible. Jasmine Zoe, congrats so much. Thank you so much for this amazing conversation. You're
Thank you for
incredible.
having me. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much. Have a good day.
You too.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.